I can't hear anything from the boardroom.
Recording secretary. Yeah, mahalo. And Trustee Secretary Kyla He, who is serving the committee's technology and information specialist. Leanne, please take roll for attendance.
Trustee Ahuna,
Present.
Vice Chair Kaka,
Ill.
Trustee Aquino,
Aloha mai kākou.
Trustee Alapa, Chair Kahale is excused. Trustee Lindsay, Trustee Souza, Trustee Waihe'e is excused, and Chair Galuteria.
Bill.
You have 1, 2, 3,
Mahalo.
6 present.
So everyone, both here and virtually, aloha. Public testimony will be allowed on any agenda item and will be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Before moving on to the items on our BAE agenda, I'd like to call our COO, Keishan Kekina, to join us and introduce any administrative staff joining us today. Good morning. Aloha.
Aloha kakaiaka kākou, mahalo nui no kia halavai trustees. This morning, our administration team is consisting of our interim administrator, chief executive officer, Summer Silva, our general counsel, Everett Ota, our public policy manager, Deja Ostrovsky, our public policy advocate, McKenna Woodward, our compliance archaeologist, Kamakana Ferreira, our director of communications, Bill Brennan, and our IT systems engineer and administrator, Kyle Saucier. Mahalo.
Okay, mahalo, Keisha. All right, let's do some business. Leanne, are there any testifiers online or in person wishing to give public testimony on either set of minutes? We're into the approval of the minutes.
There are no testifiers, Chair.
All right. Members, may I have a motion to approve the November 12th, 2025 minutes of the Committee on Beneficiary Advocacy and Empowerment?
Mr. Chair.
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee. Trustee Aquino. Any discussion, members? Hearing no discussion, Leanne, please call the roll.
Aye.
Vice Chair Kaka,
Aye.
Trustee Aquino,
Aye.
Trustee Alapa is not present. Trustee Kahele is excused. Trustee Lindsay, Trustee Souza, Trustee Waihe'e is excused. Chair Galuteria.
Aye.
You have 6 yes votes. Motion passes.
Mahalo, members. Now, may I have a motion to approve the December 3rd, 2025 minutes of the Committee on Beneficiary Advocacy and Empowerment with corrections made after distribution? A motion? So moved. Thank you, Trustee. Any discussion, members? Okay, hearing no discussion, Leanne, please call the roll.
Trustee Ahuna, Vice Chair Kaka, Trustee Aquino,
Aye.
Trustee Alapa is not here. Chair Vice Chair, excuse me. Trustee Kahele is excused. Trustee Lindsay,
Aye.
Trustee Souza, Trustee Waihe'e is excused. Chair Galuteria,
Aye.
you have 6 votes. Motion passes.
Thank you, Leanne. You sound terrible. Is there a doctor in the house? Okay, very good. All right, let's proceed to new business. That's a rather robust agenda. We have 9 matrices to consider and vote on. We will receive public testimony for each item separately in order to keep us on track so as not to take too much time from our next committee. We will consider the bills our advocacy team flagged for discussion, rather. So we'll take up the first item on the agenda under new business. In Chief Advocate Lena Ala Lei's absence, due to laryngitis, you take care, Lei. I invite Advocacy Manager Deja Ostrovsky to join the trustees at the table, please. Okay.
Mahalo, Trustee.
Okay, mahalo to you. Any public testimony, Leanne?
No testimony at this time.
Okay, Deja, is there an introduction to this matrix as stated in our BAE packet?
Yes, so our number one matrix is just pending introduction, and that's because I just want to first give like a overview of where we are in session with this matrix. I feel like it's a little bit of back to the future because of sunshine law. This was the matrix that our team prepared on opening day, which we had to have filed by that time to discuss. So I just wanted to give trustees that context that this matrix is all the bills that were introduced and reviewed by staff for a position as of opening day. Next week, we will have the noticed agenda with a much more robust bills that we are following. So if there are some bills not on this agenda, they'll be discussed in a future agenda. Okay.
Now,
So
before you go on, the
Yeah.
governor introduced after opening day.
Yes.
Right? He gave us, or he gave the legislature his package.
yes.
This is not in this matrix.
No, it is not because of sunshine law requiring the notification. We were not able to review, those bills did not come out until the 26th. And so those will have to be noticed for another agenda.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
please continue.
Okay, so for OHA package, I did just want to mention, we have pending introduction. The update is OHA 1. That has been introduced, and that's our bill about the IBCs. That is HB 2104 and SB 2538. Those will be on the next BAE. OHA 2, which is the repeal back for historic preservation, that's HB 2102 and SB 2536. As an update, our OHA package bill number 3, which is our land use commission bill, is HB 2103 and SB 2537. Our bill about the prohibition on aquarium fish, commercial aquarium fish extraction, OHA 4 is HB 2101 and SB 2535. Our bill that would put a constitutional amendment banning live fire military on public land trust lands, HB 2100, SB 2534. And our OHA package bill relating to rent stabilization is HB 2105, SB 2539.
Okay.
Right. So for that first matrix, we have no other amendments, just
Alright.
those updates.
Anything else?
Okay, no, so for matrix 2, moving on to matrix 2. These are OHA named bills. So we do have some table changes that we'll be asking for, and I think some of that is we have had some time to review since the notice with these matrix going out. So I'm going to review what some of those table changes will be.
Is this matrix 2? You're on
Matrix 2,
Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take care of the business for matrix
Make sure
1
one,
first.
yeah, okay, we're
Okay,
done with matrix 1, then,
So,
sorry.
yeah, color eye on that. So, members, may I have a motion to approve or amend the 2026 OHA State Legislative Bill Package for Matrix 1? Motion? Thank you, Trustee Souza. Any discussion, trustees? No, none? Mr. Chair? Yes, Trustee Aquino.
I'm going to vote yes in terms of OHA adopting this package and moving forward with it because I think there's much value in the discussion and in going to the legislature. I just want to state for the record that that does not mean that I necessarily agree with all provisions of the proposed legislation we're going ahead with. But I do agree that this is a good package for OHA to enter discussion with.
Okay. When we do get to specifics, you'll want to weigh in at that time.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion, members? Okay, seeing none, Leanne, please call for the vote.
Trustee Akaka. Trustee Ahuna, sorry. Trustee Aquino.
Aye.
Trustee Lapa is not present. Trustee Kahele is excused. Trustee Lindsay.
Aye.
Trustee Souza. Trustee Wahehe is excused. Chair Galutaria.
Aye.
We have 6 votes. Motion passes.
All right, very good. Okay, now let's move to Matrix 2. Any public testimony, Leanne?
No testimony at this time.
All right.
Okay.
Proceed.
Yes, I can. I just did want to also give a shout out to the public policy team who's here in person, McKenna, as well as our team online, Imi Loa, as well as our island team online, Sharde Freitas, as well as Michelle McCoy. So I do want to give a shout out to, and Kamaile. Shout out to our team. Really appreciate them. So I did want to give that shout out. Thank you folks for humoring me.
Yeah, and we appreciate you folks being there on opening day.
Yeah.
To disseminate all of our information.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Okay, moving on to Matrix 2. These are OHA named bills. And so I said we do have some table changes we'll be asking for. And I think some of that is, like I said, we now have a broader idea of what the legislature has introduced and what we are going to be prioritizing as our advocates. This is the small snapshot, and so we're asking for some table changes at that time with the perspective we have now. So the first is HB 1615. This names OHA in this task force. This is a task force about the blue economy. OHA believes that we should accept a place at the table, but we do not necessarily support some of the underlying premise of the task force, which is talking about a blue economy that uses marine resources for commercial purposes. For that, staff is now recommending that rather than support with amendments, we just comment on that measure that names OHA to that task force. The next bill, HB 1623, is the Climate Change Mitigation Commission. OHA is already a member on this task force. We are named in this bill just because we already are a member of the task force. So right now we have no position on that bill. And so we're actually recommending that we just keep no position on that bill. But again, it is up to your purview as trustees. We are just named in this bill because we are already a part of this task force. The next bill is HB 2002. Oh, sorry. Make sure I have that one. This is a CWORM, the Commission on Water Resources Independence Bill. We are recommending support. There will be no changes on that. We want to keep that as support. I just wanted to highlight that as an important bill for us. Okay. The next is SB 2018. This is, again, the same Climate Change Commission that we already sit on, and we are just named as a reference in that group. Okay. The other named bill is the SB 2083. This is the State-Owned Historic Properties Preservation Plan Working Group within DLNR. We actually have on the matrix support with amendments. So we just want to make sure that we have that as support with amendments, that we would have that position. Okay?
So you're not amending?
Yeah, we're not amending
Okay.
that one. Okay. And then SB 2109. So this is one. Okay. Sorry. Okay. I'm so sorry. This is the.
Are you 2083?
Yeah.
So you don't want to make a change on that one.
Sorry. What'd you say?
So
Yeah, 208.
you're gonna keep that.
You're gonna
Yeah,
mention-
I'm seeing
'Cause
whatever's up here on the screen is different than my thing. I am so sorry
Instead
about
to
that.
comments.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me make sure that that is amended verbally. Okay, so the 2083 and 2109 on the screen.
So that's item 5.
Yeah. Item 5, 2083, support with amendments. We want to edit that to comments. That should say comments.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a work group that we already have that in SHPD that requires hiring technical staff. So we're actually talking about changing our comments to just comments instead of support with amendments, and that's because there is the financial aspect of this task force. It's being asked to add on some duties without funding attached to it. Okay. And then again, SB 2019. Yeah, 2109, that should be support. Okay? From no position to support. So that's flipped in the text. Okay. So Comms Paya said SB 2109 is another task force about Hawaii emergency management and disaster planning. And so Comms actually said that they would be willing to take on the kuleana of doing that. All right. Okay, so just to be clear on what we have that we are recommending. Okay, so HB 1615 relating to the Hawaii Technology Development Corporation, that should be changed from support with amendments to comment.
Just so those online and in person can follow along with you, can you, when you're reading the bill, can you also mention the item number too?
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trustee Akaka. Okay, so item number 1, HB 1615. We are recommending moving from support with amendments to comment. Okay. And that's because of the commercial aspect of that bill. SB 2109, item number 6. We are recommending we move from no position to support. And then item number 5, SB 2083. We are recommending we move from support with amendments to comment.
To what comment?
Our comments again would be that we support the intent of the task force rather than a support with amendments, moving to comment because of the financial aspect about doing the work of that SHIP-D.
Okay.
Okay, that is it for Matrix 2.
That's it for Matrix 2?
Yes.
Okay. So, members, may I have a motion to approve or amend the 2026 Legislature OHA position on bills naming OHA on Matrix 2 with amended positions? In this particular case, HB 1615 relating to the Hawaii Technology Development Corporation from support with amendments to a comment. SB 2109 relating to emergency preparedness communications from no position to support. And SB 2083 relation to state-owned historic properties from support with amendments to comment.
So moved.
So moved. Thank you, Vice Chair. All right, any discussion, members? No, seeing none. Leanne, call for the vote, please.
Trustee Ahuna, Vice Chair Kaka, Trustee Akina,
Aye.
Trustee Lapa is not present. Chair Kahele is excused. Trustee Lindsay,
Aye.
Trustee Souza, Trustee Waihe'e is excused, and Chair Galuteria.
Aye.
Motion passes 6 votes.
Okay. Malo, Chair recognizes the attendance of Trustee Alapa. Okay. Let's move on to Matrix 3.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chair. This is a small matrix, and like I said, that's only because while these are our core bills affecting the public land trust, the majority of those bills will be on next week's matrix.
One second, Deja. Any public testimony
Oh, sorry.
for Matrix 3?
No public testimony.
Please continue.
So for this one, we only have a couple bills, and so I did want to point out one that we are currently monitoring, and that is SB 2182. We're not recommending any position, but I wanted to point out that we are monitoring that bill about the 99-year leases. So we are monitoring that closely. The only other bill that we're asking actually a position change is item number 1. Matrix 3, SB 2001, relating to the Banyan Drive Community Development District. As trustees know, Banyan Drive and Hilo is part of the HCDA. We had originally recommended support with amendments. If we were to submit testimony, it would be to flag that these are 5B lands. But at this time, we're actually recommending we move, just based on all of our priorities, from support with amendments to monitor at this time. Okay, yes, that's it.
May I have a motion to approve or amend the 2026 Legislature OHA position on bills affecting the public land trust for Matrix 3? So moved.
Microphone.
Yeah, thank you. The one amendment is SB 2001.
Can't hear you, Chair.
Okay, related to the Banyan Drive Community Development District from support with amendments to monitor?
Yes.
Then we have a, okay, so we have a motion on the table. Vice Chair?
Mahalo. So regarding item 1, bill number SB 2001 regarding the Banyan Drive Community Development Development District, because so then would you say these would be Crown and government lands of the Hawaii Kingdom?
Yes, and I think that there have been some discussions about what should the composition of HCDA there look like. There already is a seat for folks to give some comment. I appreciate your question. It's ultimately up to the trustees if you feel we should weigh in. Staff had just thought, given the bills that we now know are coming up relating to some other things, that we would just prioritize submitting testimony for those. But we're more than welcome to change that.
Oh, well, something to consider is that because these are Crown and government lands, that it be required that we are consulted. Now, the law says to do that. However, sometimes that needs to be stated as so, and as many various entities are mentioned to participate if this goes forward, I think it would be appropriate for the Office of Hawaiian Affairs to be included in that as well.
We could change that to comment rather than support with amendments. Would that be more appropriate to address concerns? I
think so.
Okay, thank you, trustee. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, trustee. That's a good idea.
Okay.
But who introduced the bill?
Inouye.
Oh, Inouye. Okay, got it. All right. So we have any more discussion on this matter, trustees? No? And we have a motion on the table. Okay, Leanne, please call the roll.
Aye.
Vice Chair Akako,
And this is to change item 1 SB 2001 to comment. Yeah. Aye.
Trustee Akina,
Aye.
Trustee Alapa, Trustee Kahele is excused, Trustee Lindsay,
Aye.
Trustee Souza, Trustee Waihe is excused, Chair Galuteria.
Aye.
You have 7 yes votes. Motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much, members. Let's move on to OHA's position on bills affecting natural resources in Native Hawaiian traditional and customary practices, Matrix 4. Please.
Thank you, trustee. I want to move with item number 1. We actually are going to, again, be recommending a change, and that's just because of upon further review and prioritization based on what we know we have coming. So item number 1, HB 1543, is about the HEPA process. It's really important for the protection of Native Hawaiian rights. This is often when there's cultural consultation that happens as part of the process. This is dealing with when a EIS is done and the project may sit for a while. So it's kind of creating a time frame for when the EIS is too old or when there's a shelf life for the EIS. We had support, but we thought at this time we would recommend a change to monitor, that it's not necessary for OHA to weigh in on this at this time. The next one would be SB 2084. All right, let me get you the item number. So sorry on that. I should have put those. That's item 13. relating to marine life conservation districts. Now, as you know, we do have our own package bill relating to the commercial aquarium fish trade. This is doing a carrying capacity study. So the idea is, what is the carrying capacity inside marine life conservation districts? Initially, we had recommended an oppose, but at this time, we don't think that this should be a priority for OHA to weigh in this matter, since we have our own package bill. It is kind of a different philosophy of how we deal with this situation. So we are recommending a change from oppose to monitor, just so that we can preserve pushing forward our own measure, as well as some other measures that have been introduced. The next one is HB 1619. Hold on. Oh, wait, sorry. Hold on. I lost my place. I am so sorry, folks. Thank you. Okay. We got them. That's item number 5. So this is relating to electric vehicle infrastructure, and the idea was there's folks want to support that electric vehicle infrastructure, but our team is always worried when we see someone changing the definition of development, which is what they were doing in this situation. After further review, we think that the most important parts of the project, it would still go through HRS 6E, which is the protection of iwi kupuna. And so we're actually recommending, rather than oppose and spend energy on this, we just monitor to see how this goes. And that we're not going to weigh in on the SMA permitting when the most important part, the Chapter 6E, still exists for historic preservation for iwi kupuna. So we're recommending a change to monitor. The next one is item 12, SB 2078. And again, we have in our OHA package our own aquarium commercial extraction bill. This bill is also something like that. It establishes criminal penalties and monetary fines for aquarium fishing violations. And so I did want to show that this is a monitor at this time. We have decided that we want to change our position to comment and actually highlight our own advocacy and mention that we have our bill, which we feel is the more appropriate way for regulating the commercial aquarium fish trade. So we're asking for a change from 2078 from monitor to comment at this time. Okay. And then we have SB 2161. That's item number 14 relating to land use. We had opposed, we believe this may just be from some human error in our tracker system. That's what I'm being told. So this is just rodeo use on agricultural lands. We say seems a consistent use for beneficiaries. We're just putting monitor at this time rather than oppose for SB 2161. And yep, that's it for Matrix 4. Thank you.
No public testimony, Chair.
Mr. Chair. So moved.
So moved. Thank you. Trustees, any discussion for Matrix? Seeing none, Leanne, please call the roll.
Trustee Ahuna.
Aye.
Vice Chair Kaka.
Aye.
Trustee Aquino.
Aye.
Trustee Alapa. Trustee Kahele is excused. Trustee Lindsay.
Aye.
Trustee Souza. Trustee Waihe'e is excused. Chair Galutaria.
Aye.
You have 7 yes votes. Motion passes.
Mahalo, members. Okay, let's move on to our next item. The 2026 Legislature OHA position on bills affecting Native Hawaiian housing, Matrix 5. Before we go to Deja. Do we have any public testimony, Leanne?
No testimony, Chair.
Okay, please proceed.
Thank you. So we have two changes for this housing matrix. The first is item number 3. That's relating to county permitting and its inspection. Again, this we had recommended and oppose. We're always watching for when folks are looking for exemptions from permitting that we feel are inappropriate and may not protect the historic cultural interests of our beneficiaries. For this one, after looking through it and talking with our staff, we decided to move to monitor at this time, again, to preserve our energy for our opposition on other bills. So we're recommending a change from oppose to monitor. The next one is item number 6, SB 2342 relating to housing. There's no position. We're actually recommending a change from no position to support. This bill is moving, and actually historically, OHA has a long-term advocacy history of commenting on the qualified allocation plan. And that's actually the scoring system for how we award the big pot of low-income housing tax credits. We would like to support and really weigh in on that in a new way that we have not. Yeah. Okay, sorry. We would like to start to weigh in on the QAP scoring system. There are a lot of other jurisdictions that prioritize NAHASDA funding and funding in Native communities, and that's something that OHA has historically testified on in the past. So we would like to move from no position to support, and hope that you can support that. Yeah. Okay, that is it for our housing matrix. Matrix 5, yes.
To approve and amend the 2026 Legislature OHA position on bills affecting Native Hawaiian housing, Matrix 5, with amended positions on SB 2066 relating to county permitting and inspection from opposed to monitor, and SB 2342 relating to housing from no position to support.
So moved.
So moved. Thank you, Vice Chair. Okay. Trustees, any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Leanne, please call the roll.
Trustee Ahuna. Vice Chair Akaka. Trustee Aquino. Trustee Alapa. Trustee Kahele is excused. Trustee Lindsay.
Aye.
Trustee Souza. Trustee Wahe is excused. Chair Galutaria.
Aye.
7 yes votes. Motion passes.
Mahalo, members. Okay, let's move to Matrix 6, OHA's position on bills affecting Native Hawaiian health. Any public testimony, Leanne?
Not at this time, Chair.
Okay. Okay, please proceed.
We actually have no changes to this matrix, but I did want to highlight one bill that I think is important that OHA has been weighing on in the past. Sorry. Item number 18, HB 1626, relating to youth penalties or youth fees and fines. There's a couple different bills moving around this issue, and our health matrix includes our work on advocacy around folks who are facing incarceration. And so this bill, it prohibits the assessment of fees and fines for folks who are for minorities, for kids, and it encourages INA-based community service rather than fees and fines and incarceration, which we think is an important move for ending that school to prison pipeline. So we have no changes to the matrix, but I did want to highlight that as a bill that we'll be supporting. Okay. Thank you.
Mahalo for that. All right, let's move to the motion to approve the 2026 Legislature OHA position on bills affecting Native Hawaiian health, Matrix 6.
So moved.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Trustees, any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Leanne, call for the vote, please.
Trustee Ahuna. Vice Chair Akaka. Trustee Aquino. Trustee Alapa. Trustee Kahele is excused. Trustee Lindsay.
Aye.
Trustee Souza. Trustee Wahe is excused. Chair Galutaria.
Aye.
You have 7 yes votes. Motion passed.
Mahalo, members. Our next item is OHA's position on bills affecting Native Hawaiian education, Matrix 7. Any public testimony? Matrix 7.
No public testimony.
Okay, please proceed. Deja?
There are only two bills in this matrix, both set to monitor. We're not recommending any changes at this time. Oh, I don't, support, okay, 15, I know it's monitor online, okay.
This is matrix 7 now.
Yeah, matrix 7. Yeah, this, okay.
For clarification, what we have printed in here does state the position as monitor.
Yeah, I have the one I have from is monitor as well.
Yes.
My printed matrix has
Yes.
monitor. Okay. So yeah, the position on the notice matrix should be monitor, and that's what we have. Yeah. So we're monitoring both of these bills just because we're assessing. There's a lot of movement around charter school facilities, and I'm going to call out our staff, Michelle and Charday, who've been really involved in those conversations. So next matrix, we may have some other bills about what we are going to be supporting on charter school funding.
Okay, so for now, no change.
Yes, for now, no change. It
Okay.
should be monitor on both of them.
Okay? Paul? All right. Members, may I have a motion to approve the OHA position on bills affecting Native Hawaiian education, matrix 7?
So moved.
Thank you, Vice Chair. All right, any discussion on this? Leanne, please call for the roll.
Trustee Ahuna. Vice Chair Kaka. Trustee Aquino. Trustee Alapa. Trustee Kahele is excused. Trustee Lindsay.
Aye.
Trustee Souza. Trustee Waihee is excused. Chair Galutaria.
Aye.
You have 7 yes votes. Motion passes.
Mahalo. Mahalo, members. All right, let's move to the next item. OHA position on bills affecting Native Hawaiian economic stability, matrix 8. Any public testimony?
No public testimony at this time.
Okay, very good. Deja?
We are going to be recommending 4 changes, and again, that's after we've assessed our capacity as well as what we think OHA should be weighing in on. So the first is item number 2, HB 1585. We have support. We're going to be recommending from support to monitor. This would be exempting groceries from the GET tax. We do understand that there's a lot of interest in supporting beneficiaries' economic self-sufficiency, but this would be a revenue loss to the state in the terms of GET tax that is paid for by residents as well as tourists. So we understand that the tax coalition maybe have some other targeted measures that is more appropriate for us to support at this time. So because of that revenue decrease to the state, we're recommending a move from support to monitor. 1585, yes. Okay. The next one is item number 5, SB 2082. And there are the next 3 bills are those that we really support the intent, but these are dealing with appropriation programs. And so we're actually suggesting that OHA move to monitor and not weigh in on these appropriations at this time. So the first of those is SB item number 5, 2082. And that's a teacher workforce housing appropriation. So again, we support the intent of this, but we're recommending we monitor at this time. The next is item number 6, SB 2091, HB 1770. The school bus driver situation is something that a lot of folks have brought up as a problem with transportation for families to school, and this is attempting to address that situation for folks who are in the public school system. Again, we appreciate the intent, but this is a program with appropriations and a report to the legislature, so we're recommending we do not weigh in support at this time, we just monitor. Okay, and then number 7, SB 2291. This is a child care subsidy, so it would be extending those subsidies to folks who are caring for kupuna at home. Again, we appreciate the intent, but it is a appropriations bill, so we're suggesting that rather than support, we only monitor at this time. That is it for the matrix number 8.
Okay. Okay, let's move to discussion. May I have a motion, members, to approve or amend the 2026 Legislature OHA position on bills affecting Native Hawaiian education matrix 8 with amended positions on HB 1585 relating to the general excise tax from support to monitor, SB 2082 relating to teacher workforce housing from support to monitor. SB 2091 relating to school bus drivers from support to monitor. And finally, SB 2291 relating to family care support from support to monitor. May I
So moved.
so move, thank you. Mahalo plenty. Trustees, any discussion on Matrix 8?
Yes, please.
Yes, Trustee Aquino.
Oh, may I address Deja?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Deja,
Thank you,
first,
trustee.
before I ask my question, I want to say I'm very pleased to see the thinking going on from our policy people. I appreciate the nuances you put into understanding the various pieces of legislation. You're considering. Oh. Thank you. I appreciate the thinking that's going on by policy. I appreciate the nuances that have considered our own capacity to pursue something as an organization. I also appreciate taking a position of monitor where we may not have all of the information. So this is just a friendly question because I'm curious about one of the items that you moved from opposed to monitor, which is SB 2066. No, excuse me. I am curious about that, but we'll ask it another time. I'm looking at SB 1585.
Okay.
Is that a Senate bill? HB 1585.
The
That-
GE tax revenue?
That's right.
Yeah.
That
okay.
one ostensibly exempts groceries from GE tax. And the reason you said you moved from support to monitor is because it may reduce the overall revenue in the state if we stop taxing people for their groceries. This is just a really honest and friendly question. What was the thinking behind that? That's interesting.
So I think we've been involved in a lot of different conversations about where do you tax folks, right? And then where do we offer relief? And so I think there's a lot of conversations even with the green fee about who pays those taxes. Is it the residents? And then how do we get folks who visit us and come here to pay into our tax base? And we've heard a lot of arguments that the GET tax, paying for groceries and food, is one way that tourists contribute to our economy. And so the way the state has handled this is they offer the food excise tax credit as part of your tax return to state residents. So that means that folks who are visiting would pay the GET tax, but they don't get that back because they don't file taxes in our state. But then folks who are residents would file their taxes, to get the food excise tax credit, and get that money back only after file the taxes. A lot of folks feel that that's overly burdensome, that it means you have to file a tax return and get that tax credit, and families don't have the upfront money to pay for the groceries, which are expensive right now because of the GET. So I think those are just really good, different policy considerations. And we as OHA maybe, because of our capacity, don't want to be supporting and be a part of that conversation, I guess. And ultimately, it's up to you as the trustees. This is just our recommendation about we maybe sit out this fight for this session about how this affects our beneficiaries, because it's just a different policy consideration. Should we change the food excise tax credit and make it apply only to local residents? Or should we get rid of the GET tax, which means the tourists who are paying for groceries and food do not contribute that GET tax to our economy and the revenue of our state?
Well, thank you. That was fascinating. There are many variables that will determine the ultimate impact of a law upon our people, our people who buy groceries and have a regressive experience with the GE tax. I do appreciate the fact that you're thinking of sitting that out rather than fighting for the econometric model that should be used. But thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, ultimately, if you want us to prioritize that, we're fine going back to support, to comment. We just felt like at this time, we wanted to have it monitored. Yeah. We know what bills are on the horizon now. When we made this matrix, we did not know what was on the horizon. Now we see the wave, and so we're in that canoe and we're kind of deciding maybe there's some other things we're going to be paddling for this time.
Well, I respect the position that you've taken. I personally tend to think that one of the things that could help our Native Hawaiians who are at the lower end of the economic ladder for more than others is being able to not have to pay GE tax on their medicine or on their groceries and so forth. But I respect the position of monitoring.
Yeah, I think there are other folks who are doing that fight, and so we're trying to think where we as OHA can uniquely position our support and voice for our beneficiaries.
Thank you.
You, Trustee,
Very
very much.
Any more discussion, any more questions? Okay, if not, let's vote to approve or with the amendments of the 2026 Legislature, OHA position on bills affecting Native Hawaiian economic stability with amended positions. Okay, we already have the motion on the table.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go ahead, roll call.
Trustee Ahuna, Trustee Vice Chair Akaka, Trustee Akina,
Aye.
Trustee Alapa,
Aye.
Trustee Kahele is excused, Trustee Lindsay,
Aye.
Trustee Souza, Trustee Waihe is excused, Chair Galutaria.
Aye.
You have 7 yes votes, motion passes.
Mahalo, members. Okay, let's move to the final item. Matrix 9, OHA's positions affecting Hawaii's revised statutes, Chapter 6E, Iwi Kupuna, and Historic Preservation, Matrix 9. Any public testimony, Leanne?
Yes, we do have public testimony. We have James Mai Oho. And prior to the start of our meeting, Mark did pass out a copy of his personal testimony along with bills HB 2460 and SB 3247.
Okay. Mr. Maioho, please come forward.
Aloha, good morning. Mahalo for having me. I'll stand on my written testimony, but I do have a couple of comments on top of that. So I represent Kia'i Iwi Alakai. It's a political advisory and Kanaka think tank, also registered lobbyist here and in Washington, D.C. So on the existing matrix, I have a couple comments that are in there that I want to highlight regarding specifically SB 2341 and HB 1710, which you haven't made comment on. It's only listed as comment. And I'm urging you to change your position to no on this bill. And when you read it closely, to me, it introduces a phase review during this process. And what it's a loophole that allows for an assumed concurrence if timelines aren't met, which just lets some of this stuff leak through. So the burial counselors are tied up and take too long and you miss a deadline. It's assumed that they're concurring because it takes it out of that protection. So I think it either needs to be reworked or just a position against. And then a similar situation with 1650. That just completely removes historic sites from that area, and I think just on the moral and practical basis, that's dangerous. I don't think we should be removing layers of protection for EV and for sacred sites, what we consider sacred sites, for any type of development process. And I think if OHA is going to take a stand like you have and with the burial councils trying to do more EV-centric things, it has to be consistent across the board. So that's what I have on your current matrix. I do want to mention that you got copies of 2 new bills that dropped last night. A lot of people worked hard on those over the last couple of years to put together what the community's been screaming for, which is an advisory committee of the stakeholders, the actual stakeholders of Mauna Ala. And this accomplishes that, and I think there's buy-in, and it removes it from some of the unelected administrative actions that we've had and protects against that. So I saw that SB 4 was reintroduced, and it's going to get reassigned to committees. So my ask is that we not have competing bills, and that you just withdraw SB 4. It was stalled in Hawaiian Affairs last session. There was a ton of work that was asked for that I haven't seen produced. Originally, when this bill came out, my family supported it. I was hopeful for it. And as I read some of the materials your people were putting together, it became very obvious that OHA did not support the return of my family to Mauna Ala. And that was a real red flag. I think I even applied for maybe a dozen positions here in anticipation of working with you folks. And that went nowhere. You know, even though Stacy and I had several conversations about it. It was clear that, to me, that OHA was not supporting the return of my family, which is the most important thing to any Honolulu descendant. So my ask is that you consider just withdrawing that so we don't have muddy water going into the session.
Okay.
Mahalo.
Mahalo plenty. Yeah, Deja, you've heard, and you have the testimony, so we want to take James' recommendations into consideration. Members, do we have any more testimony, public testimony?
Not on this item, but I just need to say that technology decided to quit, and so there's no screens. I think you have it on your, but there's nothing going to be up on the screen.
So that went, okay. Can we get somebody in here now to address it?
Kyle's here, but he just went. I think he just went to IT to check it out.
Yeah, okay.
It looks like it's restarting.
Oh, okay, it's restarting again?
Okay, but
Okay.
it's not affecting the live stream.
I'll tell you what, we need a motion then, right? Okay. Members, may I have a motion to approve the 2026 Legislature OHA position on bills affecting Hawaii Revised Statutes, Chapter 6, Iwi Kupuna and Historic Preservation Matrix 9? Members? Thank you, Trustee Souza. Okay, any discussion? I think now would be the time to ask your question. Trustee.
Deja, in this particular setting, it's very early. How important is it to go, I mean, if we're against something, to go against it right away? Or, I mean, is there any strategy that we should be looking at, you know, when this early in the process?
So I would say for these bills, that's why we have changed some of ours from oppose, because the ones that we're recommending we need to go really hard on are going to be on next matrix next week, which we are preparing right now that we need to have done today to be publicly noticed from Sunshine Law. So the ones, to be honest, I'm more concerned about will be on the next matrix. So those are the governor's package that dropped on Tuesday, as well as bills that dropped last night and today, which is the last day to introduce bills. So we want to get on those, and I think those are the ones that we really want to focus on.
So it's wait and see.
Yes.
Does that answer your question,
Yeah.
Trustee?
Yeah.
For me, sometimes when we go against something so early in the fight, we see all these companion bills pop up and all kinds of other things be generated. So I just wanted to ask that question, how important it is to take a stance, even though might be against something, we take a stance of not even recommending not do anything because.
Yes, so we
where we're at.
definitely are up to, our staff is seeing this as, I want to be open for you folks, for trustees, and what we would recommend. We're recommending comment on a lot of bills right now, knowing that if it starts to move and becomes a big concern, we can always change that position to oppose, and surely may recommend that at the next meeting or the meeting after. So this is what we're saying right now, what we think seeing on the horizon and perspective of what we have, there are some other bills that we really need to put our energy into opposing and supporting, and that's why we're making the recommendations we are at this time.
That's a good question. That's great. Yeah, that's good. And, you know, just sidebar for everybody, when it comes to the legislation and bills are going to be referred to committee,
Yeah.
normally, if it's referred to more than 2 committees, it's
Yeah.
kind of like a death sentence for the bill.
Yes.
I mean, 3 is like, it's hard to get anything through 3 committees. Just background information.
Yes, I trust our staff that when crossover comes and we see the bills that are moving, we absolutely do a reevaluation, all of us, on these are moving now. Is it time for OHA to step in and put our energy behind these? So especially when we'll have more of a idea what's going on with our own package.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we've got an interesting 3 months ahead of us, for
yes.
sure. Trustee Akaka?
Mahalo. Yes, I'm recommending that for the next set of matrices that included in Matrix 9 would be an inclusion of the bills mentioned by the testifier James Maioho of HB 2460 as well as SB 3247 that it looks like a companion bills to each other. Mahalo, that these what looks like companion bills be included in Matrix 9 regarding EV, kupuna, and historic preservation. And I also wanted to note, being part of the conversations regarding Mauna Ala in the past year and a half and so forth, I do want to let our testifier know that I have staunchly advocated, and specifically to Don Chang of the DLNR, that I believe that it was not appropriate for the DLNR to the manner in which they handled the stewardship of Mauna Ala, and that it was appropriate to include the consultation of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs and the lineal descendants and the Ohana, that it was not appropriate to the way in which it's not the kuleana of the DLNR to have removed the Ohana that were asked by our kupuna and our ali'i in yesteryear to properly steward this vahikapu. So I want to make that very clear, and that there were constant communication with ali'i Trust and benevolent societies and Native Hawaiian organizations, and with community leaders and community members. So a lot of aloha and care has gone into that and continues. Mahalo.
Mahalo for that. So, with that consideration, yeah?
Thank you, trustee, we will.
Okay.
Thank you.
And by the way, with regard to DLNR, Ryan Kanakaole is now the chair. Yeah, and blessings to Dawn, however that works out for her. Okay, all right, very good. Now we have a motion on the table. Any more discussion, trustees? All right, Leanne, call the roll.
Trustee Ahuna. Vice Chair Akaka. Trustee Aquino. Trustee Alapa. Trustee Kahele is excused. Trustee Lindsay. Oh, do you think she got it? We'll come back. Trustee Souza. Trustee Wahe is excused. Chair Galutario.
Aye. Trustee Lindsay?
Trustee Lindsay. Do you think we can pause until it gets up or come back to Trustee Lindsay?
We can. I guess this is a part of the technical difficulties, huh? Yeah, can you hear us, Trustee Lindsay? Ah, looks like a problem. Yeah, I think so, probably. How do we handle that?
Well, if
Stand by, everyone.
if it's just her,
Yeah.
we can have her she can't hear us, right?
Yeah. Trustee Lindsay, can you hear us? Can? No, can't. I guess not. Yeah, thumbs up. Can you give us a thumbs up, thumbs down? Shaka sign, any kind? Yeah, it's a problem. So, is the vote still good?
I mean, you have the numbers to pass, with or without her.
Okay.
We can put her as an abstain.
What is the number so far? Okay, Trustee Lindsay, can you hear us? Still having a hard time? Okay, we got enough votes though. Yeah. Trustee, can you hear us? No?
Now I can.
Okay, very good, very good. We're waiting on your vote. Is it okay to pass this measure?
Yes, aye.
Okay, mahalo.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you for your diligence, everybody. Now we're to community concerns and celebrations. Leanne, do we have any people online or in person?
We have two people in person, and I'd like to call Walter Riddy to the table first, and then Jermaine Meyer after him.
Walter, you want to come to the table? Good to see you. Now, you still have one of these chairs. You want one back? Okay. Okay. You can turn them on. There you go.
Okay.
Oh, high tech. Okay. Yeah, mahalo for this opportunity. I wanted to speak on something that's really important in our community. We just celebrated 50 years of stopping the bombing on Ka'olawe. So it kind of wake up a lot of people, because now we got another situation where the military wants to come in and renew all of their leases and all those kinds of stuff. And DLNR did a really good thing in the beginning by denying their requests. Now it's still on the table, and there's all kinds of actions that are going on. So I'm hoping that we can get a lot of support from the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. I know there's going to be a budget hearing later on today, and I wanted to really support that idea of creating some kind of a budget to deal with this issue of what's going to happen to our lands if the military gets all what they wanted to get. And I wanted to just give a few historical kinds of things in support of that idea. In 1976, I don't know, that was a while back, at the Constitutional Convention, this organization was formed. And there was another thing that went on. It was Article 12, Section 7 got passed. And that's things that are in our Constitution that protects us as Hawaiians. And out of that Article 12, Section 7, a law came into existence called Kapa'akai analysis. And DLNR is responsible for doing a lot of that. And when they were dealing with the military, that was kind of like a side issue. But I'm hoping that OHA makes it a really important issue, and some of that funding goes towards this concept of the Pa'akai analysis. It gives us a really strong position as Hawaiians that you have to make sure that you protect those resources. And the details, I'm sure, are going to be presented to this group as time goes on. But I wanted to just give three things that are important in this Pa'akai analysis. One is it requires people to ID the resources, the historical and natural resources, make sure that there's a clear analysis of what is happening on these lands, and then try to figure out what is going to be the impacts So Kaho'olawe is a really good example of what kinds of impacts you can expect and how the government said that they're going to clean it up but never finish their obligations to clean it up. And the other impacts, of course, was water. And we have a lot of bad relationships with the military when it comes to protecting our water. So I'm here really to try and figure out how we can get the Hawaiian community some kind of a standing in this argument with the United States military. And we're looking to OHA to, because of these Article 12, Section 7, and Pa'akai analysis, and those kinds of laws that protect us as Hawaiians, that we take a really strong position on this go-around and not allow what happened a long time ago when they didn't pay us for any of the use of the lands. And in fact, as Hawaiians, we see our resources being misused by the military. So I'm here just to support the idea of OHA putting some funding together in order for us to deal with the United States military.
Appreciate it. Anybody have any questions for Walter before? Paul? Yeah. Do you have questions? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So to the chair, you can ask for clarification.
Yeah, go ahead.
Halonko, Walter, for joining us today. I would be interested in knowing when you're talking about a budget, what do you have a figure amount in mind? And
Well, I heard the
reason
amount
as to
$500,000 being thrown around, and I really like that amount. I mean, it's going to take, this is going to be a huge, huge battle for us as Hawaiians.
What we'll do is we'll have administration reach out to you and continue this conversation.
Say that again?
We'll have the administration reach out to you and we can continue this conversation.
Yeah, mahalo. We have some experience dealing with the United States military.
I think so, huh? I think so. Trustee Akaka, did you have one final thought?
Yes, based on the feedback that we're receiving in the Hawaii Island community meeting that we had the other month, following discussions that were had at the Association of Hawaiian Civic Club Convention in Kona, and that was then followed by us having a site visit Pohakuloa, and then there being sessions at UH Hilo, hearing from our beneficiaries and the public regarding that, followed by Board of Trustees, Hawaii Island community meeting there in Hilo, and then on November 26th, there was that listening session at UH Hilo, and then another listening session regarding military land leases and I want to say the Nanakuli area, and then a PMR F1 in Kauai. And from what I'm gathering, it's being made pretty clear that those that are showing up are not supportive of military land leases continuing, and that there be a proper cleanup of our Crown and government lands, and that the lands and part of the ongoing discussion we're having, and I'm trying to advocate for as well, is even though some of the lands were taken under executive order, are still Crown and government lands, even though they are under one would say they're under the jurisdiction of the federal government. But there's still a live fire happening in the Pohakuloa area and so forth. So I believe that we need to continue to advocate as so, and at the same time, what I'm hearing is there's so much communication from our people that they don't want it to continue, and I think that's made pretty clear. And I'm interested to know those that are part of the permitted interactive, the PIG, to to hear their mana'o in terms of the recommended amount of 500,000 and all the figures in between, if that makes sense. And I'm very interested on hearing from our community leaders, those who have served here at the Office of Hawaiian Affairs before, our OPO, and from our community to hear their mana'o on if they think that makes sense in terms of a figure number and what it would take to properly advocate county, state, federal level.
Well, we gotta start someplace.
And within the
I think the
community.
best place we can start is, we're gonna have our admin reach out to you and come up with a rationale for a number. And then we go from there. How's it sound to you?
Right on. Yeah, we're early in this battle. They tried to deal with the governor, and the governor tried to resolve the issue, and he knows he can't do that by himself because the Hawaiians have a direct interest in these lands. And Article 12 and Pa'akai gives us the inside to do something about this and not just let the state government do things that are going to have major impacts on Hawaiians and what they believe in.
Okay, one second before you leave. Trustee Lindsay, do you want to say anything?
I just want to say that maybe this conversation should be saved until the discussion of the 500,000 in the Budget and Finance Committee, because this is not agendized, and the trustees should not be responding to the conversations of our beneficiaries.
So what we're gonna do is, and Trustee Lindsay is right, the best place to discuss it is in BNF, the Money Committee.
Right.
But like I said, we're gonna have Summer reach out to you, and then we'll go from there. Okay?
Okay, aloha.
Thank you so much, Walter. Good to see you. Thank you. Okay, mahalo nui loa. Anyone else? Community concerns?
Jermaine Myers.
Hi, Jermaine, come on. And while Jermaine comes up and gets settled, we have a second committee coming up in shortly after we adjourn. Okay? Okay, please proceed.
Like that. Like that. Okay. Can you hear me? I can hear. Okay. Aloha Chair Galiatera, Vice Chair Akaka, and Honorable Trustees. My name is Jermaine Myers, an OHA beneficiary and Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead lessee. I'm here today to raise Sunshine Law concerns on behalf of the public and OHA beneficiaries. These concerns are not abstract. They go directly to public notice, transparency, and the public's right to meaningfully participate in the decisions of this board. First, meeting start times and public notice. Under guidance from the Office of Information Practices, OIP, the Sunshine Law requires that public meeting notices state a specific, reliable date, time, and place, and that this information be posted at least 6 calendar days in advance. The practice of scheduling a meeting to begin only after the adjournment of a separate meeting, often resulting in 1 or 2 hour delays, does not provide the public with a fixed or reliable start time. A notice that says 10 a.m. or following the adjournment of another meeting does not meet the standard of meaningful notice. Community members plan their lives around posted times. Working families, kupuna, people with disabilities, and those who rely on public transportation cannot sit on standby for hours waiting for a meeting to begin. This is not simply an inconvenience. It undermines the public's statutory right to attend and testify. It is also important to clarify that this situation is not a lawful continuation. A continuation applies only when the same board is unable to complete its own agenda. A separate board waiting to convene must begin at the time that was noticed. Second, executive session notice and my OIP appeal. On the same topic of Sunshine Law compliance, I want to place the following on the record. I submitted a Sunshine Law appeal to the Office of Information Practices concerning the OHA Board of Trustees meeting held on September 23rd, 2025. My appeal requests a determination as to whether the board violated Part 1 of Chapter 92 HRS, specifically HRS Sections 92-3, 92-5A, 2, and 92-7, when the board entered executive session without notifying the public that it intended to discuss, evaluate, or remove the administrator and chief executive officer, Stacy Kealohalani Ferreira, and subsequently vote to appoint Summer Silva as the interim chief executive officer. A copy of my appeal was transmitted to Chair Kahele on December 2nd, 2025. Third, what OIP required OHA to do. In that same correspondence, OIP directed OHA, or Chair Kahele, to take specific actions which I want to briefly read into the record. OIP required OHA to respond in writing within 10 business days of receiving notice of the appeal. That written response was OHA's opportunity to justify its actions and provide additional information for OIP's consideration. OIP also reminded OHA that the Sunshine Law must be interpreted to favor openness and to disfavor closed meetings, and that except in limited circumstances, every meeting of all boards shall be open to the public and all persons shall be permitted to attend as required under Hawaii Revised Statute Section 92-3. Importantly, OHA stated that when a complainant alleges a Sunshine Law violation, the burden is on the board, not the public, to justify any departure from the law's general requirement of openness. In addition, OIP requested that OHA provide a written response to the appeal, unaltered copies of the agenda, minutes including executive session minutes, and the recording of the September 23rd, 2025 meeting, and asks that these materials be submitted no later than 10 business days from receipt of the notice. Still waiting. I raised this today to ensure the record reflects what OIP required and that the Sunshine Law compliance includes not only how meetings are noticed and conducted, but also how boards respond when concerns are formally raised. For transparency, beneficiaries were blind copied on my correspondence to the trustees. In closing, transparency is not discretionary. Public notice is not a formality, and participation delayed is participation denied. I respectfully urge this board to provide clear fixed meeting start times, ensure accurate and complete executive session notices, and treat Sunshine Law compliance as a core obligation to beneficiaries and the public.
Thank you.
Kia kua pu, God bless all of you.
Thank you, Jermaine. Anything else for community concerns and celebrations?
No.
No? All right, members, do we have any announcements? Okay, announcement would be stick around for the next meeting. Okay. Mahalo to everyone for your participation. There being no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Trustee Souza. Leanne, please call the roll.
Trustee Ahuna. Trustee Akaka. Trustee Akina.
Aye.
Trustee Alapa. Trustee Kahele is excused. Trustee Lindsay.
Aye.
Trustee Souza. Trustee Wahe'a is excused. Chair Galutaria.
Aye.
You have 7 yes votes. Meeting is adjourned.
All right, today's meeting on the Committee on Beneficiary Advocacy and Empowerment is adjourned. The time now is 10:24. Mahalo, everybody.
Thank you, Chair.